All right, guys. We're back for another family reunion. We've got another interesting guest of characters. We've brought two of our former guests back this week. Idin, go ahead and introduce yourself or reintroduce yourself to the world.
Hey everyone, my name is Idin. I'm a lifelong Arsenal fan, long suffering but long loving, and I'm honored to be back in with the family.
Gabe, I think maybe your third or fourth time on the pod.
It is, yep. Honored to be back as well. Lifelong Man U fan, big soccer fan in general. Excited to get it.
Bernard, B, go ahead.
Yeah, people, what's up, people? I'm back again. Today I'm representing Arsenal and, of course, the homeland, Jamaica.
Okay. So, speaking of Jamaica, these past week and a half, 2 weeks have been filled with international football. Probably the highlight of the break, whether it good or bad, was the 6-0 thrashing of Germany by Spain. I don't know if it was a crazy performance or what it was, but it was definitely an interesting result. Idin, do you want to touch on that game first and your thoughts?
Yeah, it felt like a little bit of everything. It reminded me of Aston Villa from earlier this year, the 7-2, where one team just kept taking and making really good chances that they were efficient on, really could have had more. And then the other team, just nothing was going right for them. I don't want to be too simplistic, but at the same time, I don't know if it's a matter of wholesale changes. Germany does seem to be getting a little bit long in the tooth with some personnel decisions, with some of the ways that they're playing. I've always been suspicious of Joachim Low personally anyway. He's always had a creepy look for me. But
he picks his butt and smells it.
I mean, he picks his butt, he picks his nose, he combines the two. He's really creative.
A gingerbread. What about you? Did you get to check out the game at all? And what do you think about Joachim Low, and what do you think about the Spain performance?
Yeah, I watched it. It's what was interesting is he decided to play Serge Gnabry as like a false nine for some reason, and they had Timo Werner on the wing, right, which was strange to me. But what's more interesting to me is that he has been in the job for so long in a national team. This is almost like his third cycle, right? And that's very unusual. And then you can see, of course, you see Ozil start complaining. They lose a big game. Guys said they need to go back. I need to get experienced players. But, there's added motivation to that. So, but do I think they need experienced players? They probably do, because if you watch the game defensively, it could have been more than 6. Emmanuel Neuer, he didn't play bad. He didn't cause any of the goals. There was a few other breakaways that he saved, to be honest. So I think they probably need a change of manager, and they're not blending enough youth with experience. They're just going in, especially defensively. They use a lot of youth in terms of the national team, with the exception of the goalkeeper. And the goalkeeper is their strongest point. That's the funniest part about it.
So what did you think about Spain's performance? I know you're not a big fan of Sergio Ramos.
Spain, are they a good team? Yes. But are they the team of yesteryears with Xavi and Iniesta? No, because they're not at that level. They don't have the midfielder, not even Cesc Fabregas. They don't have that type of player. They don't have that level of players in their team. But are they a good team? They're a team that's evolving, right? But I guess most of these teams are teams that, for some reason, they're still experimenting with what they're doing. So it's not fully a work in progress, but it's just above.
Okay, fair enough. Gabe, did you get a chance to watch the game? And well, actually, I know you got a chance to watch the game. What were your general thoughts and takeaways from that game, specific to Germany themselves?
So I think the boys hit on most of the points that I would make too. Reinforce a couple of things. Low is on his third cycle. It is maybe too long. Maybe it would be good to have a fresh face in there, a fresh evaluator of talent, a fresh evaluator of tactics. I think some of these national team coaches, certainly here in the U.S., we've seen that where they fall in love with personnel, with people who play a certain way, who understand their tactics and the role that they want them to play, and they become wedded to those decisions. Now, I don't know if that's the same with Germany, but I think that given the talent pool that they have, we all know, their B squad is stronger than, most top 15 nations in the world. I mean, that's how good they are, or can be. And so, I think that he needs to be a bit more ruthless with his decisions. With a performance like that, you need to make sure that people are accountable, because I think that that's an important distinction for the coach to make. But I also think that Spain, with the way that they play, their technique, their possession, their capability set, we know that on any given day, a team who's not on their game, they have an ability to do that to a team. And so, I think that you got to give them credit for how well they played, but there's also other pieces to that. Spain, I don't know that I would necessarily put them at the top of the list of set piece teams, although I know they've got some good players, in the box like Ramos that you mentioned, but they had at least 2 goals in the box that I saw off corners, which I think is unusual. And Germany ought to be a big, strong team who's able to defend that better than they did. And so, I know Serge got caught on the back post. Those are plays that I think that you got to take a hard look and say, how can we let that happen? I mean, a game can swing on a goal, and you get a couple of early goals like that. And so, given where they were at in the standings, Germany's got to go for it too. And so when you're going after it and trying to make sure that you close the gap, you have more gaps at the back. And so, those early goals change the game. And I think that was the result that occurred. So do I look at it and say the world is falling down for Germany? No, not necessarily. And nor do I look at it and say Spain has, reached, back to a peak. I don't think that they're as good as they once were, as we already mentioned. But Spain is still Spain. And they're, at the top of the nation's league groupings for a reason. So, it was an interesting game, but I think it's more an aberration than a trend.